What's going on, fellow youths? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're practicing your memeing for the Meme Dream Team. And I want to give a quick shout out, thank you to all of you who have joined as a member of the channel. It's YouTube's version of Patreon, which I am banned from for exposing old men that like little children. I'm going to leave a link in the pinned comment below. You get emojis, and then YouTube's rolling out some like custom comment highlights and more features. So if you want to support the channel that way, it'll be in the pinned comment, and I do really appreciate it. So there's nothing wrong with being 30 and single. Nothing. I have many friends who are in their 30s and single. I have friends in their 40s and single. It's just the way things shake out sometimes. It's totally normal. Where it seems a bit odd is when you're a good-looking 30-year-old multimillionaire woman who has proclaimed proudly that you're a feminist. And when you come out and you're 30 and single, if you were a man, we know what everyone would call you. They'd be calling you an incel. But because it's a feminist, because it's Emma Watson, she's stunning and brave. I don't think any of my 30-year-old single friends would consider themselves stunning and brave, but none of them have quotes that Entertainment Tonight put out saying, "Feminism is not here to dictate to you. It's not prescriptive. It's not dogmatic. All we are here to do is give you a choice." Or, "If you stand for equality, then you're a feminist. Sorry to tell you." Well, this week it came out and the media is scrambling to call Emma Watson a stunning and brave woman for not being single, not being a femcel. No, incel? Femcel? I don't know what you'd even call it. But self-partnered. Now, look, I self-partnered a little bit before shooting this video. I always find it a great way to clear my head. Nobody called me stunning and brave. But when you're CNN and when you're like a far-left media, you've got to find something to say. Emma Watson looked shame in the face and won. I'm not sure that's how it looks. When it comes to controversy, Emma Watson's personal brand usually registers somewhere close to mild objection. That's probably fair. Like leaving the skins on mashed potatoes or sneaking store-bought snacks into the movies. No, that's pretty blatant. But the woman who gave us Hermione, Belle, and eerily convincing Thief from The Bling Ring, never even heard of that, now at the ripe age of 29, landed herself in a spot of the mic drop, quote, Hall of Fame by saying, quote, "I never believed the whole I'm happy and single spiel," she told Vogue in an interview published this week. "It took me a long time, but I'm very happy being single. I call it being self-partnered." One, that's not a mic drop moment. That's a sad admission. When you have the looks, the financial means, and the cachet of Emma Watson, and you can't find anyone who wants to spend time with you, that's not exactly something I'd be happy about. Now, what might be forgiven for being blindsided by the conspicuously uncoupled-esque vibe of the remark at first glance, indeed, many outright jeered. Self-partnered means you can't get a bloke, right? Well, or a female. I don't know what Emma's into. Suggested a British TV host. Can we only assume that self-appointed relationship expert Piers Morgan? What's wrong with being single? Twitter users demanded. Nothing. Nothing's wrong with being single, but all of the media lining up to worship her for saying she's single, that's the funny part. It's very weird. Really, Emma Watson is as independent and privileged as possible without being a white man in a similar position. Oh my God, what a great day. What a great Friday. I know Friday viewership's always a little bit lower, but those of you that show up on Friday, I hope this has been a treat. Yet she does not continue to share insecurities. Those insecurities are met with a maelstrom of criticism for her honesty. Wrong. If a man were come out in his 30s, you all would be running that he's undateable, or you'd be calling him an incel, not worshiping the ground that they walk on. By contrast, this week saw 55-year-old Keanu generate positive buzz for dating a woman merely 9 years his junior. As a BBC journalist, Louise Ridley, pointed out on Twitter, so telling that movie star BAFTA winner, UN ambassador, Brown and Oxbridge graduate Emma Watson says she felt pressure over not being a partner, having a partner and a baby by 30. Well, look, there's biology is a thing, and there is an internal clock. It's very real. Look, I'm in my 30s, and I do feel some pressure for not having procreated yet. But I'm not out there talking about how I'm boldly self-partnered either. So why does the pressure for women to partner up remain so rife? It's there for men too. Of course it's there for men. What do you mean? It's like world ends, woman most affected. There's little evidence that for them, being in a couple is necessarily better than being single. What? Are you joking? In terms of life expectancy, happiness, or health, it is, however, in men's interest for women to believe that they should partner up. Oh my God. Studies have repeatedly shown that a man is likely to live longer and enjoy better mental and physical health if he's married to a woman. Oh. I didn't read this article before. I never read the articles ahead of time, but this has turned out to be an absolute gold mine. It's a little wonder that centuries of PR in male-run world have been dedicated to teaching women that they are sad or somehow deficient if they remain alone. No, nobody's going to say that. You know, I think if you ask Jennifer Aniston if she's happy at her age being basically single her entire life, I bet you she'd say no in a private moment. Now, they can't say that publicly because being a strong, independent woman is a media narrative. But look, I said it in the beginning of this video and I'll say it again. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being single. I have friends that choose to be single, but they aren't also out there saying that it's a stunning and brave move, and CNN isn't writing an article blaming women for it. They continue. Elizabeth Gilbert, the best-selling author of Eat, Pray, Love, lamented in an interview earlier this year that she had finished the book, a neat happy ending, which saw her move from a year of self-discovery and independence into the arms of a new partner. Implied that 1 year was quite enough for time for self-fulfillment and exploration before going back to living a respectable, responsible life that looks the way a female is supposed to. Hey, again, don't care. You do you, but you're not stunning and brave. Watson is clearly intelligent and self-aware. Talking to Vogue, she referred to the mixed reactions of her, quote, coming out as a feminist and sitting in therapy. I wonder how many other feminists have said the exact same thing. I wonder if there's a correlation to being a feminist and having to spend time in therapy. I wonder. Feeling guilty that someone else might have enjoyed her extraordinary fame more. In the knowledge that she will probably be lambasted by someone, whatever she says, why shouldn't she express herself harmlessly in the way she feels comfortable with? The only way for a woman, famous or not, to dash the shame imposed on them is to look at squarely. Nobody's shaming her for being single. This is a total straw man, bologna sausage narrative. Nobody is shaming her for being single. Look, Emma, I've got lots of good male friends, good female friends that might be interested in spending a little bit of time with you, Hermione. You know, come hang out, have some fun. Because I've got to admit, the fact that you're talking about how it's strong and powerful that you're self-partnered might seem like you're trying to convince yourself rather than to say something you actually believe. You look at all these articles talking about how stunning and brave it is, and we'll look at this Slate article because it's also hilarious. I don't believe that you believe what you're saying. I believe you're saying what you think you should say. Embrace being single, Emma Watson. Enough with this self-partnered nonsense. Written by a single person, I'm sure. Moreover, conscious Uncoupling, a brand new term for someone we already have a word for, is taking center stage. By the way, if it was a man, they'd be calling her an incel. In her December cover story for British Vogue, Emma Watson revealed that she prefers to call herself self-partnered instead of single. The linguistic debut came in a discussion Watson had with journalist Paris Lees about the anxiety she's faced in the lead up to her 30th birthday. Why I was like, why does everyone make a big fuss about turning 30? Here's the thing. You admit, Emma, that you're having anxiety about not having, having kids and being married. That's because that's your body telling you that, that's probably something you should be considering. The fact that you're trying to say that you're proud to be single kind of flies in the face of that, because if you were truly proud of it, I'm not sure you'd be having all sorts of anxieties. The problem with declaring yourself self-partners is that you're ceding the argument, agreeing with the prescript that some kind of monogamous partnership is a necessary component to a fulfilling life. Well, for most people it is. Maybe not for all, but for most it is. Self-partnered also makes the same mistakes that most depiction of a romantic partnership does, assuming that one person can be all things for another. Even a person in perfect romantic relationship still needs intimate platonic relationships. Self-partnering turns us more into islands, suggesting that with the right mindset, we can all be self-sufficient. A woman's singleness is not a situation to be corrected, transcended, or rebranded. Be single, Emma, and be proud. Written by somebody who lives in a studio apartment with 6 roommates, 5 cats, and a hamster. All right? Look, again, nothing wrong with it. I just think it's hilarious that everybody is scrambling to defend Hermione here, where if it were a man, they would be lambasting him, and we all know it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.